That's right.
He's so silly. Let me introduce. He's silly. Hey guys, this your girl Classy C. What's up? What's up? Listen, I wanted to do like a pop-up with me and my husband. Just having real conversations about whatever's on our heart, you know, and hopefully that it will bless you all. So this is my husband, Robert. As many of you know that has been following me, you know that we got married last year in June. And prior to that, we had, you know, been dating for 1 year. So we've been together for 2 years and married for almost 1 year, guys.
Yes,
1
yes,
year.
yeah.
Look, we making it. We making it. So
Don't try to act like you didn't have a you didn't have the time of your life. Get out of here. We making it. You better go somewhere.
It's good, y'all. It's good. I mean, I ain't gonna lie though. You know, it's been, you know, we had our challenges. We have been, you know, had our challenges, but for the most part, guys, man, he's a blessing.
Amen.
He's a blessing.
And so are you.
Book. He's a blessing, and the things that I have, you know, experienced in the past, you know, in past relationships, trying to do it on my own, and it wasn't of God. Heart being, you know, broken. It was a mess.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a difference.
Mm-hmm.
It's a difference when you are trying to do it opposed to when you allow God to do it.
That's right.
So when you try to do it, you are headed to the road to the road of destruction. Honestly, you are. But when you allow God to do it, it's not like that. It's not. Now you will have some trouble. You will have some challenges, but it's not. It's nowhere near like that. You know, he get on my nerves. I'm sure I get on his nerves too. But you know, we come back. So again, y'all, you know, for those that are new to this channel, I'm Classy C. This is definitely a pop-up moment, you know, that we want to do real life, you know, real talk conversation. And so please feel free, you know, in the comments, you know, put down something, write something down, type in something that you would love for us to, you know, talk about, because I do want to do this, do the pop-ups
More frequently.
Yeah.
More frequently.
Yeah.
And you know, it's good for us to kind of hear comments as well.
Yeah.
Like this topics that, you know, that you guys are concerned with, right?
Yeah.
That you want to know.
Yeah.
Please comment. We love the interaction. We love to speak with you, talk with you, and we love to your family, to be able to discuss things, and all of us come together and build each other.
Yeah.
Build each other up.
We don't, you know, and guys, we don't have the answers, you know. The best answers, honestly, is from God. You know, the wisdom is truly, it's from God, you know, and the experience, you know. We can only tell you our experience, you know, and it doesn't necessarily, you know, mean that it will work for you. But we do know, and we do live by the word of God.
Yes.
So that's our foundation. That is our source. You know, we are, you know, believers of Jesus Christ, you know, and this is our life. You know, we both are ministers. You know, we both are preachers and teachers, you know. For the most part, you all are used to me, you know, coming on and giving you all a word. But again, I wanted to come on and I just wanted to have a pop-up, you know, moment, real talk, real life stuff, you know. So let's go. Let's hit it. So before we get started, you know, hit that button subscribe, like, and share. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
I don't know if I told y'all. Did I say your name right? Did I say your name? Robert.
You didn't.
This is Robert, my husband, Robert.
Call me Pastor Rob. That's easy.
God.
Oh.
Look, we're not doing no titles. We ain't doing no titles. Classy C. And whatever he want to be called.
Exactly.
So, all right, babe. So what's on your heart? What's on your heart?
I don't know. You kind of called this this time of reflection. What's on your heart, babe? Because I know something always on your heart. Something always in your mind. What's going on?
Well, I guess what's on my heart, it's a lot that's on my heart, y'all. One thing, well, since both of us are on here, we could talk about, relationships. We could talk about that because I know, ladies, that are watching, that are single, you desire to be married. I know that sometimes it can be rough, so I guess let's talk to them. The single ladies and the single men.
Okay.
Let's talk about that.
All right. Let's talk about it.
So I guess we could share our testimony, right?
How long does it take a man? How long does it take a man to discover that you're his wife?
Woo.
Let's go in hot.
Yeah.
I figure Rob beat around the bush. Let's go ahead and get to the hot topic.
Yeah.
How long does it take a man to determine whether or not the woman that he's invested his time and oftentimes money with is actually the one, right?
Yeah. How does that happen? Ladies and gentlemen, for my ladies, I know that's the question because for a long period of time, again, when I was trying to do it myself, that was the question for me. How long does it take, right, for a man to decide, hey, I want you to be my wife, right? I was always told, that it don't take long. Okay, well, what does that look like? So here it is. We have the man of the hour, and he's going to break it down to us. Let's talk about that.
Talk about it.
Yeah.
I think it takes a man 6 months. 6 months. 6 months, within 6 months. And oftentimes you hear some men say it was faster than that. But within 6 months of being with a woman, a man has already determined whether or not he's going to marry her or not. Now, what separates the men in that sense is, one, is he ready, right? Is he ready to take on the challenge of being a husband? And two, are there things that he's waiting to see from a woman? But I believe that within 6 months, I say right around, I'm gonna go 7 months. Right around 7 months, you definitely already know who that person is. You definitely know if this person is gonna be wife material or not. It doesn't take men alone. See, men are we are creators. We are we build and we destroy, right? So we are definitive in our thinking. Men are not typically, beat around the bush. We are not indecisive. Men are very decisive in their decisions. We are very decisive in what we want. And within that amount of time, we've already determined, when I first meet you, I already know what category I'm going to put you in. Let's be real. Most of the time when men interact with a woman, within a short period of time, he already knows if he could take her home to his mother or if this is a woman that he's going to just have fun with. He's already determined that within the first meeting, just in the way that he approaches her. He already knows just in his approach whether or not she had, what type of standards she has. Do she believe the thing? Does she stand on the things that she believes in, right? He already knows within a short period of time, just of him approaching her, because men are hunters, right? He already knows. So within 6 months, he already has determined whether or not you're going to be his wife. With you, I knew very shortly after meeting you that you're going to be my wife. I knew before you. Matter of fact, I knew you was going to be my wife before we even started dating. I already knew. Okay, that's my wife right there.
Wait a minute. Wait. So if you knew before we started dating that I was your wife, then why? Because guys, listen.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first day we met. Oh my God, y'all! When I say it was definitely God, God was all up in it. The first day we met, we talked for hours, hours. And here's the thing, y'all. When we talked, it was pure. It wasn't about sex. He wasn't undressing me with his eyes. I wasn't, thinking in my mind like, "Ooh, I hope he the one." It was just straight pure, a conversation.
It was two kingdom kids coming together and just talking and having a good time.
Good time. So you said, did you know that day?
No, not that day.
Oh, okay, all right. So
no, I'm not gonna say, oh, when I saw you, everyone else faded away and it was love at first sight. No, I'm not.
Okay.
No, I'm not saying that.
So I got a question then.
Go ahead.
You said that that a man, he discovers, right? You gave, the time frame, right? It doesn't take long, 6 to 7 months, right, guys? So he gave the time frame, but I want you to break down that word discover. How does a man discover who the wife is? Because we're talking about, is this conversation or is this discovering for a godly man, or is this for every man?
It's for every man. Every man, like, once again, men are hardwired to be hunters.
Okay.
Plain and simple. Men, we size up women. We size up each other. Men will size up another man. Like, we are hunters. It's just hardwired in us. When it comes to our mate, right? What I mean by discover is because there are billions of women on this planet. Billions of women on the planet. And there's one for us. Right? So that means that we're sampling the women in the world until we find a woman that sets herself apart from all the others. We discover her because it's a discovery, because it's something that you have not had before. So you discover her in the sense of, she presents something that you have never had before.
So when you said sampling, look, I'll be listening for key words, right?
I know.
No, but when you said sampling, what does that look like? Does that mean that you're dating different women? Does that mean that you're not dating?
No.
What
Sampling means that it's no way possible. If we say that half of the women on the planet half the people on the planet are women, and we say that there's 7 billion people on the planet, so then that means a good 3.5 billion are women. I would never meet all 3.5 billion women.
Right.
So it's a sampling. What I mean when I say sampling, I'm only going to be exposed to a small percentage of the women that are actually alive on the planet. Right? So when I look at my dating pool is only as large as my circle of influence or my circle of accessibility. I won't be able to meet everybody. So that's why it's a sampling. So what I mean is, in your everyday walk and the people that you greet, the lady, the waitress at the restaurant, the cashier at the gas station, the woman that you meet at the church, or the greeter here, that's a small sampling of the women that's on the planet. Okay? And so I just believe that the divine nature of marriage is that God will put the right person in a right place for you to come together. So you was in a right place. Where we met, I had been there for months, had never seen her. Never seen her. We might have been there in the same place, but we never was there at the same place at the same time until we both were ready. There were some things that I was healing from, and past relationships. I also was renewing my relationship and my walk with the Father, right? And so I had to do some healing, and it was after that period that she walked into the health food. What do we call that? It's like a
it's the protein shop.
it's like a health
food cafe.
Health cafe.
Yeah.
It's a health food cafe. And so that day she came in, and I've been there many times, and it just clicked. And me and her began to speak, and we spoke for hours and hours. And even the people that had been there, the regulars, was like, man, you never talked to anyone like that. You were talking with her. Wow, that's something different. Right? And God would do those things. So I never say that I discovered her. I say that God presented her to me, because I probably would have never had discovered her. We've all had, let's be real, we all had failed relationships in the past when we try to do it our own way. Right? So when I pray to God, I pray, God, present to me who my wife would be. I don't want to just rely on my own opinions and intellect in selecting of this woman, because I need her to have a pure heart, and I can't see her heart, but Father, you can. So present that woman to me that's going to be a helpmate. And that's what he did. And he presented you to me. So that first day, didn't know, but I just knew that there was definitely a connection, and I believed, and we both believed, oh, this is a divine connection. This is a kingdom connection.
Yeah.
We would do ministry together. At the time, we had no clue that we will be a marriage in the kingdom.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I like when you said that when I walked in the cafe, and as we were talking, and time went along, it wasn't that day, right, that that he knew, but God had a plan, right? He presented me to him that day, right? It's interesting because that morning, y'all, and I don't know if I told this testimony or whatever in my past videos, I'm not for sure, but I just want to expound on it again. That morning, I woke up and I was like, Lord, whatever you want me to do today, what do you want me to do today for you? Honestly. And I was like, you know what, God, I'm going to call off of work. I kid you not. Just to do whatever it is that you want me to do. Because sometimes, with us working 9-to-5 jobs, being busy or whatever, sometimes it could be a little difficult, right, to do what God really want us to do, right? So I made myself available. I sacrificed my 9-to-5, where I get my bread and butter from, right? But everybody, look, God is my source, right? So anyway, he showed me when I woke up and I called off of work, and I told God, I said, Lord, just show me whatever you want me to do, right? I meant that from my heart. And so he showed me the faces of the owners of the cafe, right? Now, mind you, he said that he had been going there, right, for couple of months. I've been going there too, but I never went there to sit down and stay. It always been drive-bys, because I would go before I go to work. So I would have to go in and come out, and I don't know, maybe we've came across each other, at the time, but just never. It's almost like, even if that did happen, we was not awakened to it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Because it wasn't time, right?
It wasn't the season.
Yeah. So he showed me the faces, and I was like, okay, God, I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna minister to them, right? So I went there. I walked right past him. Because it's a bar. It's a nice, bar where you can sit there, you can watch TV, drink your protein shakes and stuff like that, right? And so I walked past him, sat on the other end of the bar, and I just started ministering to the owners, the couple.
So, quick question. You said you walked past me, so I was unimpressive? You didn't notice me? So you just walked past me. So what you're saying is, that all the people in the bar, you walk straight past me. And what I mean the bar is they have a bar that you can drink your drinks on. Right? So you just walk right past me. You didn't notice me.
So honestly, okay, no, I didn't because, wait, hold up. Because I didn't notice you because I was there on an assignment, you know what I'm saying? And that's what my focus was on. He gave me the faces, right? So I thought, right, was my only assignment, but it wasn't. God had a surprise for me. He was like, surprise, but no, I didn't notice you because again, I was focused on what he had showed me. You know what I'm saying? And it's a good thing that he didn't show me your face, right? Because I would have went in there looking like, where's he at? Right. So, God, he has his ways of doing things, But I went there, and I started ministering to the owners, the couple. And as we were towards the end of our conversation, I'll never forget this. I was saying within my mind, within my spirit, I said, God, okay. Now that I've done what you have done, what you wanted me to do, I'm after this, I'm gonna leave. And so when I said that in my spirit, in the last statement that me and the owner we was talking about, because we was talking about church, right? And I was inviting them to my church, and he was like, "You a minister?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Oh wow." He said, now this is right before I said I was getting ready to leave. He said, "Oh, Rob, he's a minister." So it was like the whole, I guess what, dynamic, the conversation, it shift because I was only there. So I thought, just to minister to them, I'm going to go in there, do what God told me to do, and then I'm gone. You know what I'm saying? I did what he asked me to do, right? But, before, I left, the Lord shifted to him. And he was like, the owner was like, man, minister, he's like, Rob is a minister. I said, really? I said, well, come here, come down, Minister Rob. Come on, come down here. Let's talk because I thought that was a great thing. It's kind of rare to have more than one child of God, right? A believer of Jesus Christ in the atmosphere that we were in, right? We was in a protein shop, right? So I thought that was kind of rare. So I was just like, oh, come on, like what church you go to? So me and him, now we talking, what church you go to, and it wasn't an agenda, like I said, I wasn't thinking about like, oh, I wonder if he's the one, and I didn't see him. I promise you, I was not thinking that. She
made me run my resume. How long you been preaching? What church you preach at? What was your last sermon? What book was the last book that you read? What's your favorite book in the Bible? Who was your favorite character in the Bible? Do you understand? Give me scriptures to break down. Hey,
he tried to test me. Like, do you really believe? Like, what do you mean? What are you saying? Yeah, I believe.
Hey, that's
he tried to challenge me.
But that's good stuff though. But because that's an example of obedience, right? And how there's a reward, how God rewards us in our obedience. Yeah. Because had you not been obedient to God when he said, I want you to go minister, you would never met me. Which means that when we do what God has asked us to do,
that's good.
Just with her walking in, the focus that she had, that I'm not looking at anyone else in here. God has given me an assignment and I'm going to fulfill my assignment. Yeah. And then in filling her assignment, now the reward was, hey,
that's good, babe.
Once you've done what God says, hey, there's a guy that's sitting on the end of the bar.
Yeah.
We'll have a conversation with him. And us being able to have a conversation and just being able to talk, see, and that's great discernment too, right? As example necessarily of us talking, the Bible tells us that we judge the spirit by the spirit,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so, in having those questions, having that dialogue, we're discerning each other's spirit. Are you truly who you say you are?
Yeah.
Are you truly a child of God? Are you truly a kingdom kid, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes we kind of miss out on that. And then sometimes I love the fact that you did not notice me then, because sometimes some of us, especially as believers, we end up falling in love with our assignment. We end up falling in love with those that we are supposed to be ministering to, and we allow our own desires to overtake, and now we find ourselves in situations with people that you was only supposed to be ministering to, but you didn't really had a love connection, and now you're like, God, why am I in this situation with this person?
That's good. I've been there. When he talked about, I love when you said that, falling in love with your assignment. That's good, because that's all that individual is supposed to be, is your assignment. But somehow, some kind of way, it end up into something that it's not supposed to be. And then you end up in it, and it's like, oh my God, how did I get here? You know what I'm saying? So that's good. I like the way you said that. But so guys, we started talking. We talked for hours. Do you hear me? Hours. It wasn't nothing perverted. You understand me? I really have to expound on that. Because when we meet people, for my single ladies, when you meet men, the signs are there. We just choose to ignore it. You know what I'm saying? We choose to compromise. We choose to settle, because the signs is there. When a person open up their mouth, this is so true. When a person open up their mouth, you can tell what they want.
Yeah.
You can tell where their mind is. I've, in the past, before I met my husband, again, try to do it on my own, I've had encounters, conversations with men, and I could tell right off back what they wanted. Sometimes their eyes will be right here. That's a sign, ladies. When a man talk about, you coming over his house. Wait a minute, I just met you. That's a sign, ladies.
Yeah.
That's not God.
Yeah.
God is not going to send you something or someone that is, perverted. You know what I'm saying? Or is the opposite of his word, right? So.
And one of the other things is also, I did not dirty up my my reputation, right? I had promised God that I was gonna take a break from dating, from relationships, and just be in His presence and heal myself from some wounds that I had from previous in my past, right? And so I did not date anyone in that spot, in a place, right? There was a lot of them that desire to date me, but I decided, no, I'm not going to do that. Right? I'm going to take this time out just for me, and take this time out just for to get closer with God. And I meant that. I stood on that. So I had to be obedient myself. So now when you came in, it wasn't as if I had access, or I had a past there that you had to contend with. Right?
I like that.
And God did not allow us to come until I was healed as well.
Yeah.
Right? You came in my presence once I was healed, once I was ready, and then you were ready. Because some of you may know that she had some things going on at the time period when we met too, right?
They don't know that.
That she was just coming out of.
They don't know that. But my intention is to share that part.
Okay, I was going. Okay.
Yeah.
I jumped ahead.
Right. Because but that's interesting that you said that, because I do feel like that that the before part, right? The process,
right,
the logistics, the details. I think that's important too, to be told, to be said, right? Yeah.
When God heals you. Understand that when God heals you, He heals you completely, right? He's not just going to heal you from leprosy, right? He's going to heal you from the damage that leprosy caused mentally and spiritually. He's going to give you a complete healing. So
and make you whole.
And make you whole. Exactly. And make you whole. So during this time period that we both were in, a time period in which God was restoring, reviving us, right? He was repairing us and making us whole again, right? And so through that process, you know, it was almost like a reward.
Yeah.
You know, and to go back to what we had said originally when I said 6 months that God knows whether or not you're going to be his wife. When God presented her to me as my wife, me and her had not even started dating yet.
Yeah.
We were just friends. And so he told me, hey, this is your wife. But what I love about God is you have a choice. Yeah. God never takes away your free will, right? I have a free will. If he says, hey, I'm presenting this woman to you, this is a helpmate for you, right? I still have the choice of whether or not I'm going to adhere to that. I still have the choice of whether or not I'm going to pursue that. Just as well as she has the choice to say yes or no, right? So this, I kind of cringe when I hear sometimes men say, well, God told me that you're my wife, so therefore you have to be my wife. No, she has a choice, right? So God presented her to me. It was my choice to pursue her. It was her choice of whether or not she was going to receive it. Yeah. When I told her, I said, hey, God told me you're going to be my wife. Well, her wasn't even dead. She said, no, are you sure? Are you positive? And matter of fact, she had just prayed for me a couple of weeks before that and said, I'm praying for you to find a wife, and Lord, send a wife to him. And she was doing a good old prayer. Did not know she was praying for herself. Right?
Listen, y'all, that was tripped out. Because we was on the phone, you know, we were talking, and he told me, he said, you know, I'm looking for a wife. I said, oh, that's cool. You know, that's what's up. I said, well, and then he said, you know, I think I'm going to go to California and look for and find me a wife. I was like, oh, okay, more power to you, you know. See how that work out? You know, I'll be praying for you, right? I said, you know, I believe God going to see your wife like he said. You know, I'm encouraging him and I'm praying for him. But I didn't know that it was me all along, you know. And I that day when he told me, right, because it was after that conversation, sometime after that conversation, you know, he had called me and he was like, hey, I was like, hey, he was like, I got something to tell you. I was like, oh, okay, you know, I didn't think it was going to be what it was, right? So I was like, okay, cool. I was like, what's up? You know, what's on your mind? And he was like, God told me you're my wife. Yep. Just like that.
Sure did.
And I was like,
sure did.
What? I said, he didn't tell me that. I said, are you sure? And he was so confident, guys. He was so confident. He was like, yeah. He told me. He said, but don't worry about it. He said, the Lord told me to be patient with you. You know, he said, he'll tell you. And he said, later on, years, you know, from some time later, we're going to look back on this and we're going to laugh about it. And I was like, okay. I said, but, you know, he didn't tell me. He was like, it's okay. You know, no pressure, you know. And he was so, that was another thing, ladies, that captivated me, right? Because he didn't pressure me. You know, when I think about the past, right, there, you know, I had some encounters where, you know, men be trying to pressure you into doing things. That's another thing, another flag to watch out for. You know, when a man try to pressure you into doing something without allowing you, right? To process it and time. And he gave me that. You know, he trusted God, that God was going to deal with me and speak to me. And he did. And the Lord spoke to me. But it wasn't right away. It was maybe like a couple of months, right?
Maybe.
Yeah, about a couple of months, few months after. And that's when the Lord started bringing things back to my memory and one of the things that God brought back to my memory was a dream that I had. You know, the Lord, I'm a dreamer, y'all. I'm a seer. So the Lord showed me before he came in a picture, a dream of someone proposing to me. And we were in church. And I remember looking at my finger, you know, and I was like, wow, you know, I'm getting engaged. I'm about to be married. And I'll never forget that. And this was before, matter of fact, a month before he came to the picture, you know. And prior to that the year before, I call her my auntie, she prophesied to me and she said that God has a ram in a bush for you. So I was like, oh, well, he must be Ishmael or something. Because at the time, you know, look, y'all. Look, y'all. Because at the time, honestly, and this is another channel, you know, and I'm gonna talk about. I was talking to someone, you know, my heart was somewhere else. Mm-hmm. And so when she said that to me a year before meeting him, I was like, must be, a snake or something, you know, Ishmael, because that ain't it. And then January, right, the year that I, you know, met him, that's when the Lord showed me that dream. And I woke up and the Lord told me it's somebody else. It's not the one that you think that it is. Woo, y'all, that's a whole nother story, But, and I was like, no, God, what is going on? What? And so when he told me, just fast forward to when he told me what the Lord spoke to him, I was just like, I was so quick, you know, I was like, he ain't tell me that. And then, like I said, as time went along, and sorry, y'all, that's our dog.
You gotta call me. I think somebody's coming to the door.
Okay, go ahead. I'll talk to them while you doing that. But as time went along, guys, you know, spending time with him, getting to know him, you know, not moving fast. And ladies, one of the important things is taking him around people that I respect their wisdom from God. I respect their judgment. That's very important. So when you meet someone, it's very important to take them around, you know, the few people that you are connected to, that you respect their wisdom, right? So I took him around, you know, of course, number one, my mom, you know, my mom, she listen, that's a powerful woman, anointed woman of God. So I took him around my mom. Everything okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So I took him around my mom, and then sorry y'all, Karen. I took him around my mom. Then I took him around my pastor, right? Mm-hmm. Then I took him to my friends. I call them my sister, her and her husband, you know, because they're seers, and I respect them, and I respect the wisdom that God, you know, has placed inside of them. And most of the time, guys, people on the outside can see what you don't see, right?
So basically, she made me run a gauntlet. I had to run a gauntlet. I think if any of you, if any men on here that play football, we all know about running that gauntlet. I had to run a gauntlet.
Oh my God!
And see if I can, if I was gonna be able to come on the outside, on the other side. And thank God that He gave me the strength and the nutrition to be able to stand firm and stand strong. But yeah, I had to run the spiritual gauntlet.
And you took me around your people.
I did.
Yeah, he took me to his mom, his sister, you know. Yeah, the people at the church, yeah. You took me around your people too, but he
So, some of you, I don't know. Do they know where we live at? Chicagoland area?
Yeah, I think so.
Chicagoland. So, you know, I did not come from a Koji or Protestant or non-denominational background. I came from a denominational background. And then, you know, us joining together, I come into contact with pretty much every prophet in the Chicagoland area. Every prophet I can think of, most of the apostles I've met, and they have all, I had to run. So when I say I had to run a gauntlet, a spiritual gauntlet, I had to run a spiritual gauntlet. Everyone had to approve me. So I thank God for it. But, you know, one of the things, just going back, sweetie, yeah, when God told me that you were going to be my wife, his instructions were, she's delicate. She's like a flower. She's like a tulip, a petunia, right? A very beautiful flower, but delicate. So God told me that I needed to be careful how I moved, right, with you. And his instructions were for me was to don't push, right? Don't push. You know, as men, sometimes we are aggressive. We know what we want, and we go after what we want. God says, hey, that's her. Don't worry about it. You don't have to force it. Don't worry about it. So I had the confidence to say, hey, you don't know what God has told me right now.
Yeah.
But you will.
Yeah.
You know, I already know that he's going to come talk to you about it. You will. You have a choice. I even told, I said, hey, you know, you're my wife, but you have the choice on whether or not you're going to accept or not, right?
Yeah.
You have free will, right? And it was okay. So it was no pressure because I knew she was there. And then I had abstained for some time previous anyway. So it wasn't like I was already okay, you know.
Yeah.
I already was healed, and I was like, I can take my time, and I truly enjoyed your company. I enjoyed us being able to talk. I enjoyed the connection that we had, right?
Yeah.
Just the pureness of it. I enjoyed just allowing things to develop naturally.
But so look, y'all, here's the tripped out part, right? In the midst of, you know, him allowing me, giving me that time to, you know, process what is happening, you know, process, you know, that God, he has surprised me. Man, to process the shift, the transitioning, you know, because I prayed for this, y'all, for years, you know, 20 years, you know what I'm saying, of wanting to be married, and I've you know, I've been engaged before, you know, but again, that was by my doing. But what I wanted to say was, in the midst of going through this process, seeking God to know the answer for myself, not because of what he said, but I wanted to know from God, right? Because this was my life.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And my children, you know, I have a package, right? So I wanted to know for myself, but there were times when I tried to push him away too. I did, you know, I did because, you know, ladies, the biggest mistake that we have, right, or that we make is that we have this fantasy, right, in our minds of what our husband, I don't want to say unrealistic, I'll say unrealistic, right, unrealistic, you know, fantasy or thoughts or idea of what my husband's, right, should be like, right.
Unrealistic expectations.
Yeah, that's it. Yep. Okay. Yep. So, you know, my husband, because I was so used to, and that's the thing too, of being by yourself, allowing God to detox you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And in the midst of your healing, right, process is allowing God to detox you from what you were used to, from the things of the world, right? Because when I was in the world, I had this, my husband, he's gonna be, 6, foot tall, and
I am.
which he is. So God gave me, he did, and he's gonna dress like this, and be a sharp dresser, and fancy shoes, and I had all this these ideas, or like you said, expectations. But when he came into my life, he wasn't like that. He dressed nice, he dressed decent, but it wasn't the expectation. Look, we gonna keep it real. We gotta keep it real.
Hold on, we gotta qualify that.
Okay.
My regular day, like right now, kids on spring break, we're relaxing. My regular dress, like my dress down, I dress down. Matter of fact, when she met me, I might have had.
He had on a Rush hoodie. I'll never forget that. A
Rush medical student university.
I was like, well,
so it wasn't, but it was just, hey, I like hoodies. It was cold. It was
it's nothing wrong with hoodies,
so
right?
I'm just relaxing, but when I needed to dress, I could, right? I could dress, and that was not a problem. But when I dress down, I dress down. She's Hollywood, so everywhere she goes, she's gonna have on something. It's gonna be a whole fashion show. That's not me. That's really not me. I'm a simple guy.
Love it.
I'm a simple guy. I like my track suits. I like, I like to be comfortable. When I need to dress, I will dress. I can, right? But for the most part, I'm like, no, I don't need that, right?
Yeah.
But fashion model over here, fashionista over here is always going to be, every day. It's going to be something. The sunglasses and all that, the earrings. She's going to have the rings and everything. It's going to be over and above, baby, where you going? Oh, I'm just going to the mailbox. Really? Really?
Oh my goodness.
But I let her have it. That's what
good.
makes her happy.
This is good. I love it, guys. But yeah, I'm just saying, with that, ladies, be careful, of the unrealistic expectation. And even because we talked about this before too, with your husband, the man who God has for you. And I'll never forget this. He told me this. We was having a conversation, about couples, right? Women, men, meeting, dating to be married. That's it. Mm-hmm. He told me this, and it makes a lot of sense. The problem is that women are looking for Jesus. In other words, you're looking for a perfect man. And you're not going to find a perfect man. Now, this is going to be a whole nother topic, for us, right? But yeah, you're not, ladies. You're not going to find a perfect man. You're not, because you're not perfect. You know what I'm saying? Right. He's going to come with some issues. And you're going to come. Let me make it for both. Both of y'all gonna come with some issues. For real. So, no, I just want y'all to know that, like, just be careful. You're not gonna get a perfect man. You're not. But you do want a man that is after God's heart, that is open for God. Like he said, his background, where he came from, is different from mine, a little different. I mean, we both grew up in a Baptist church, right? Right. But along my path, I got exposed, to the fivefold ministry, the apostolic, anointing, right? got just a little bit, a snippet of it. And then when I came into his life, it was like, boom, he got exposed to it. You know, so, but yeah, ladies, don't pray about that unrealistic expectation, you know. But I'm telling you, when God sends you your spouse, you're going to have everything you need. I promise you. Everything you need. It's not going to be perfect. It's not. Like I said, we are almost at a year, y'all. Woo! We have our moments.
And it's a process, right?
Yeah.
You think about, marriage. A marriage that endures is a marriage that survives time, right?
Yeah.
The struggles and the hurdles, right? A successful marriage is a marriage that decides that, hey, it is always going to be us against it.
That's right.
Right? It's a marriage that says, okay, in the midst of us not being able to come into a common place, right?
Yeah.
A compromise. We're going to allow the Lord to be the tiebreaker in our tie, right?
Yeah.
It's the certain things that you just decide that you're going to do. And that's what makes your marriage successful, right? I have to always remember that she is delicate, right? That she's delicate. God told me in the beginning, she's delicate. Be careful how you handle her, right? And she's fragile, right? And not that she's not strong, because she's a strong woman. She can do it on her own, right? But with me dealing with her heart, be delicate, right? With me dealing with her past, be delicate. With me dealing with her future, be delicate, right? And me coming from, I'm a retired military guy, and want to be direct, and especially when I'm in that mood,
he could be
right?
militant.
I'm in that mode, right? I'm like, hey, this, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, whoa, you coming way direct? Wait a minute, soften the blow, and I have to. Okay, you're right. I have to be willing to do that, right? Because I have to understand where she is. And I just want to touch on this, man, because I know we done jumped all over the place. This is impromptu. This wasn't scripted. It was not planned.
Yeah.
So I know in this video, we kind of jump bases. We kind of giving you our genesis as a couple, right? Which is important at times, right? But one of the things when I originally mentioned that 6 months a guy will understand if you his wife or not, right? But I told you that there might be a time in which a guy might hold off to pop that question. He knows that you his wife, but he's gonna hold off. And I had to do that, right? Because I made a promise to God. I said, God, I'm gonna wait a certain time period, right, before I propose. And this is before I even met her. Right? And it was just to give me a time to make sure that I was, one, prepared for the assignment. Make sure I was prepared for the commitment, right? That went with being a husband. I want to make sure I wasn't just a husband on paper. I wasn't just a husband in title, but I was a husband within function, right? And in all areas of that, I wanted to be a husband, a home cultivator, right? My responsibilities of a husband is to fertilize and increase and to develop my family, to cultivate my family. That means even to cultivate her and her purpose with God. I had to make sure I was prepared for that assignment. So I said, Lord, I'm going to wait. I promise you, Lord, I'm going to wait to make sure that I do this right, that I'm okay. So I already knew. She was like, hey, come on, pop this question. Hey, come on. Like it shouldn't take this long. Come on, let's go. But I'm like, no, I made God a promise. I'm a man of my word, right? And even though she did not like it, she respected it because that shows that I had a standard. That showed that that my word is important to me, right? If I'm going through that to say, God, I am not going to forsake this word, this promise I gave you, and I never see him, that means her that I see every day, I won't do that. Right? So sometimes, a guy would do that just to make sure that he's prepared. Sometimes it has nothing to do with the woman. He has to make sure he's prepared. And ladies, I'm going to say, like in that conversation you have with that guy, Some guys, I'll be honest, some guys are not doing the right thing. They doing it for their own reasons, and they don't want to be married. And just not, they holding you along, right? They trying to hold you down to keep you on a shelf to prevent you from getting to your next. But other guys are like, hey, I have something I need to do, right? In that conversation, don't be afraid to give them that space. As long as it's reasonable, right? As long as it's reasonable, right? And, you know, some guys have goals in their mind. I had to have a certain finance level, right? I had to be at a certain level of affluency before I can start a family, right? I need to make sure that my profession, I have the house, I have the car, I have these things, I have the experiences that I needed to have to make sure that I am prepared to take on a family. And that's an honest conversation to have with your mate.
Yeah.
It's a great conversation to have.
With the person that you're dating.
Yeah.
Like he said, I did. I started to get to a point. Yeah.
She was gonna break up with me. Let's be honest. She was gonna break up with me. I'm gonna tell you, she was gonna break up with me. Yep,
Look,
she sure was.
I was, y'all. Listen, I was like, if he don't do this, but I'm again. This is why it's good to. I'm sorry, y'all. Our kids on spring break. You know, this is our life. All right. I want y'all to see the real. You know, this is just our life.
No, he's doing it on purpose just because we're on the camera. If we were not on the camera, he would be quiet as a church mouse. But just because we're on the camera, he's doing that.
But you know, when he said that I didn't like it, I had got to a point, you know, where I made the decision to accept, right?
Bugs.
Because to accept, you know, what he said to me, you know, and because God was showing me, you know, that this is real, you know, that he is, I sent him to you, right? Mm-hmm. So once I got to the point like, oh, okay, you know, once I had that moment with God, or those moments, because it was several things that the Lord had to show me, right, before I knew, right, for myself. When I got to that point, I was just like, oh, okay, I got it. I'm ready. Let's do this. You know, that's how it was. It was like, I'm ready. Let's do this. But, you know, what he said, you know, was that he had to make sure that he was prepared, right? And I remember him telling me that. And I was like, well, why did you even ask me? You know, why did you even tell me? Like, we could have just stayed friends, you know, but that came from, and this is what I'm talking about, you know, being detox and allowing the Lord, you know, to minister to you, right? That came from being disappointed from my past. You know, I was afraid. I allowed, you know, fear to come in because, you know, the enemy was trying to tell me like, oh, you know, that's not gonna last, or, you know, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna get to that, you know, to that point, to that 1 year, you know. So I started feeling like, in the midst of the fear, like, oh, he gonna disappoint me. Like, oh, this is not gonna work. And so when he said that I was gonna leave him, I did, y'all. I had in my mind, I said, if he don't propose to me in a year, I'm falling. I didn't say I was gonna leave him, but I was just like, I'm gonna step back. I'm gonna step back. She was gonna break over.
Listen, man, she had a speech that she had been preparing and everything. You know, I just think that, you know, whatever she was gonna say. And the whole time, I already knew exactly the date that I was going to propose to her.
Yeah.
Right? I already knew exactly the date that I was going to propose. She did not know.
Nah.
Everyone else knew. She did not know. But so she was planning on breaking up with me. And I'm like, okay. And she even went so far. This is the funniest thing. And I love it because, you know, one of the things that I needed to discover with her is, how does she handle disappointment? Right? How does she handle disappointment? Relax. How does she handle disappointment, right? And she thought that I was going to propose to her on her birthday. She just knew that I was going to propose to her on her birthday, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do that. That's not my plan, right? And I'm stick to my plan. I said that I was going to propose on this day, so that's the day I'm going to propose on. So you should have seen her when it didn't happen. I'm giving her gifts, and man, every gift I gave her was like, oh, okay.
It was like, what? Oh,
Okay. This is nice, but come on, let me get the other box. And I give her another box. She's like, oh, this is beautiful. I love it, but yeah, let me see the other box. And so she's looking for the ring box. And when the ring box did not come out, she was like, oh. For real?
Yeah. Y'all, let me tell you something. When he like he said, he had a plan and he was giving me these red box, y'all, these red boxes. The box of one box, it was with real pearls. Pretty nice. The other box was the small box where the ring comes in, was the pearl earrings. I'm like, are you kidding me? Where is the ring?
I was messing with her. I might as well have fun. If I'm gonna be in trouble, I might as well, have fun with
Listen, y'all, he don't know, but that day when he was giving me the red box, the gifts or whatever, I was just like, you know what? I had to leave. I had to, walk out the house, right? And I had took a ride. As a matter of fact, I was going to get his gift for, our 1 year, being in a relationship. And I just cried. I was like, he not gonna do it. Like, I just got, like, y'all, I called my mama. I was like, Mom, he not gonna do it. He said 1 year. I was so dramatic, y'all.
Now, I want you to understand this. I said 1 year.
Right.
The first date we went on was the date after her birthday.
True.
So I told her 1 year, which would have meant that I would have proposed the date after her birthday.
Yeah.
So she was doing all this crying and everything, but she didn't want to wait that one day. It was the next day. So of course, as a matter of my word, I proposed to her the next day, which happened to be our 1 year anniversary.
Yeah, he did. So guys, this is our time.
Yes.
We hope that you are blessed, with our story. We are the Fowlers.
That's right.
That's our name, the Fowlers. But those that been following me, I'm your girl, Classy C. We hope and pray that this has blessed you all. That this gave you all, some wisdom, godly wisdom. Definitely. And as you can see throughout the whole process, hey, we did it. We waited on God. That's the most important thing that I want to say, is to wait on God. And in the midst of waiting, get your healing, get that detoxification, allow God to make you whole, and focus on, the things that you want to accomplish, your goals, you know what I'm saying, your dreams, whatever it is, whether if it's writing a book, starting a business, focus on the ministry, your assignment that God has, given you. Anything you want to say?
Yeah, I just like to
say.
What
about to the guys? What you want to say to them?
Just to be encouraged, right? The sea is vast. There's just many fish that are in the sea. Don't get caught up in your first catch, right? If you're looking for a wife, right? Just work on being a good husband, right? What'll happen is when you do the work that you need to do to be a good husband, to be a godly husband, one of the things that happens is your standards, your discernment, all gears towards that. And you won't have to worry about as much as to running into the wrong ones, because that work is going to cause you to begin to sift through a lot of the relationships that they're not going anywhere. That's right? Good. Don't be afraid to take don't be afraid to take that step, and don't be afraid to be vulnerable with your woman. The best way to get to your man, to allow him.
Who is that for? Married couples?
This is for period, okay. Right? This is for period. Men are attracted to women's femininity. Men are attracted to women's femininity. Testosterone is a violent, aggressive hormone. That's what causes men to want to conquer the world, to build skyscrapers, right? That's what testosterone does. Testosterone is that energy, that drive, right? Mm-hmm. It has to be balanced. Women have the feminine energy that balances a man, and we need that, right? We need that balance. Mm-hmm. Don't try to out masculine your guy. Mm. Don't try to outman him, right? Be feminine. Yeah, there's so much power and strength in your femininity, right? Yeah. We are meant to be together, to work together, right? Yeah. To be helpmates, right? Men and women are meant to walk aside, right? Men are meant to have a vision, and women are meant to birth that vision, that legacy into the world. We're meant to be together, right? Balance each other out. Yeah. Right? Don't allow the it to become bigger than the us in your relationship.
That's good. I love that. It's us against the problem, guys.
That's it.
It's us against the problem. Married couples, couples that are engaged. Remember, it's you all against the problem. Mm-hmm. It's not gonna be perfect, and I have to emphasize on that, because again, you're deceiving yourself if you think that it's going to be perfect. It's not, because you got two people coming together, So, I love you all. We love you. Again, this is our story. This is a real conversation, real life stuff. And ladies, wait on God. Allow God to do what he's going to do in you. Complete your goals. Focus on that. Focus on your assignment. And be around strong community. It may not be that much. You don't need that many people around you. You don't. But as long as you have the few women, that's constantly pouring into you, mm-hmm. encouraging you, to keep going, and to do it God's way, you're going to be fine. Yeah. So,
yeah. I hope we answered the question. I know we kind of jumped around a little bit.
Yeah.
We'll get better at this. This is our first time.
Yeah, it's a pop-up. It's a pop-up.
Unexpected. We're not seasoned YouTubers on this. We're going to get better. Hang out with us, right? Just stay with us and watch the growth. Watch what we accomplish.
Yeah.
All right? You guys stay encouraged.
Yes.
Stay encouraged. Stay blessed. Stay in your word and have a repentant heart.
For sure.
God will, as you humble yourself, God will exalt you. And he wants to encourage you. He wants to empower you in your daily walk, in your daily life. That one mate is out there for you.
Yeah.
Don't settle.
Yeah, don't settle.
Amen.
Don't settle. Avoid the heartbreaks.
Right.
Avoid it. Right. Yeah, don't settle, guys. Don't settle. So click that button, subscribe, like, and share. And again, we'll be back. We're going to be doing this
frequently.
Yeah, frequently.
And I pray that your discernment is increased. I pray that your discernment is like a laser point. Focus. I pray that God allows you to be able to see his will and his intentions for your life.
Yeah. Amen.
Faster, earlier, and his voice is louder.
Yeah.
Than any other voice in your life.
That's right. In the mighty name of Jesus. Yes.
Amen.
And Jesus is our source, y'all. And we encourage you all to let the word of God, to let God, the Father, to be your source, your foundation. That's the only way you're going to make it. That's the only way you're going to make it. All right, y'all. So we love you all. All right, you all be blessed. Please click that button, subscribe, like, and share. And we are the Fowlers, and we will be back soon.
And ring that bell.
Ring that bell. All right, y'all. It's our time.